Hey. Coach Wheeler here, and today's video is about the battle between good versus evil. The good old battle of the dark side versus the light, and how we get ourselves through that battle and what a daily battle that can be. And I'll use myself as an example. I'm trying to improve my life daily. I'm trying to do things to become more intelligent, to become wiser, to become better as a coach, to become better as a partner, as a future husband, to be a good person, to improve my health, to look after myself, and to try to do the right things as best as I can, but also reminding myself and understanding that sometimes I'm not always going to have the right frame of mind. That I might have a battle with myself. That some days I might feel like getting revenge, or I might feel like just being a bit shitty or a bit sarcastic, or just arguing with someone for the point of arguing, just to try and make them look stupid, which I know is a silly thing, but sometimes in a debate it's good to do that. And sometimes it's fun to do that. But remembering that I'm always trying to be the best version of myself, reminding myself that, that's not my intention. My intention is to do the best I can, but some days I might not be 100%. And to forgive myself for that, not blame myself, not feel guilty about that, and to understand that being human, the existential existence, is a difficult thing, of how to process those thoughts, how to come to terms with that. Sometimes I sit down with clients and they'll say, well, 1 minute I think this, and then the next minute I'm that, and one day I'm everything's sound and the sky is blue and life is wonderful. And then the next day I feel like getting off me nut and doing this, that, and the other, and I really don't. I'm up here, I'm down there. Am I bipolar? No, that's called being a human being. Well, we can put labels with things, and if you go to the doctor and get a diagnostic report to say, yes, you have this condition, that's a different thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the paradigm of our feelings, that one day you can feel like being a superstar and a great person, and the other day you feel like being a piece of shit and not so good. And I'm just saying to understand that for yourself. Come to terms with that. Don't give yourself a hard time. In certain situations, you're not always going to make the right choice. And that can be dependent on a lot of things. Sometimes people come to me and they'll be in a relationship, they've been married for a few years, or they've just got married, or they're single, or whatever it is. But their situation might determine some of the things, some of the choices they make. Ideally, they wouldn't make those choices, but they say, well, this is the only option I've got right now. I'm single, so, I can't do the things that couples would do, so I can't choose that path to make that decision. If I had a boyfriend, or if I had a girlfriend, or if I was married, then maybe I would do that thing down that path. So sometimes, or your social standing, your economic standing, your financial range might give you abilities or disabilities that you have to live with in the reality of that moment in time. Your age, your intelligence, the options that you have, the knowledge that you know. Sometimes you make a decision. Do you know all the facts about what you're making that decision on? No. Sometimes you might just make a decision because it make you feel happy about that decision. Well, right now I've made that decision. I don't need to do any research. I'm not that bothered about it. It's like I'm going to say yes to this thing and it's fine. And I'm happy to live by that. And even if that changed, you'd look back and say, well, at that time I was happy. So that's fine. And sometimes you might make a decision you're not happy about. There's always the yin and the yang. There's the dark without the light. And I think that battle between those opposing views, the paradigm of what we can face, is to understand yourself in that, to be kind to yourself, to say, okay, I'm not always going to get it right. I'm not always going to make the right choice. Hopefully you can make the best choice available at that time, and you can do it with intelligence, kindness, patience, and the right facilities. I mean, listen, in an ideal world, we'd all have to say, yeah, I've got plenty of time, plenty of money, all the knowledge I need. I've looked at every single parameter of this thing, and I've made the completely 100% right choice. And everyone's going to agree with me, Now, how many times does that happen? Even if you had all the money on earth, all the time on earth, all the intelligence on earth, and even if you made the completely right decision for you, I guarantee there'd be someone that wouldn't agree with you. Someone from a different culture, someone from a different religion, someone, if you're a man making that decision, well, from a woman's point of view, I disagree. A man can't be a woman, so you can't make the decisions from that point of view. So you understand where you're always going to get someone that will agree, disagree, but it's what it means to you. Do you agree or disagree with yourself? And when you do have that battle with yourself, which is this video is about, to say that sometimes you will have that battle, because you'll have the little, you know, in the cartoons when they had the little devil on one side and the little angel on, no, I think you should definitely do the right thing. No, don't do the right thing. He's this to you, he did that to you, and do you remember when you were a kid, blah, blah, blah. You should definitely gain revenge. And then the battle continues. And that battle is sometimes inside us. And knowing what to do, well, that's a tricky thing. I don't have all the answers. You might not even have the answers. I don't even sometimes have the answers for myself in a situation that I think I'm doing the right thing. Because someone will say, well, have you thought about that? And it's like, you know, I kind of have, but, you know, this is the path I'm going. And then you stick by that. It's like creating a plan and then not sticking to the plan, you know. Sometimes you can have the best plan on earth. If you don't execute it right, it's not going to go anywhere. And sometimes you make the plan with only some of the information. Or maybe you're not ready yet. You know, maybe you're, I don't know, at school and you're choosing your subjects and you think, right, I'm at school, I'm 15, and I've got decisions. What GCSEs do I take? What GCSEs do I take? What courses do I want to enroll in? What am I going to do? And you make that decision from a 15-year-old's point of view. You can ask your parents, but they might be biased because they want you to do something they think you should do, not what you think you want to do. You're only 15 years old. You might speak to your grandma and granddad, and then they might have a different generational point of view. Depends what your culture is, your religion, your socio-economic standing in where you are in life. And also what you want at that time. Do you really know what you want when you're 15 years old? Sometimes people get to 50 years old or 95 years old and they say, I still don't know what I want to do, you know? Well, you're going to die soon, brother, so you better make your mind up. So you see the balance and the battle that we have. And this video today is about the internal battle that we sometimes have with ourselves. And I think just understanding that, coming to terms with that, having knowledge and intelligence to look at the different sides of it, and that you might feel not so great one day and great another day, and that, you know, you might have more money in the bank one day and that decision becomes easy, or you've got no money in the bank and that decision's even easier because you don't have a choice. You know, there was a great line that said, I'm too poor to be cheap. And I remember when I used to buy tools, I don't know if I told you this story before, but I used to buy tools and I would always look at buying the best tool I could afford. And even if I couldn't afford that tool, I would think, what is the best tool that I could buy? And even if I couldn't afford the best tool, I'd wait till I could. Because sometimes when I bought cheaper tools, they wouldn't last as long and they wouldn't be as good. And I would end up wasting money buying the cheaper one twice instead of just buying the expensive one once. And even making that decision, you know, talking about that story of the battle inside. What do I do? Do I just carry on doing what I'm doing and get nowhere, or do I save up and get a bit more money? Or do I buy the cheap tool and at least use something to get me along the road? All of those decisions are a personal thing. But that battle inside yourself, and I'm talking about buying tools, but it could be a massive decision in life. Do I get married? Do I stay single? Do I have children? Do I practice this religion? Do I not have any religion? Do I go traveling? Do I, whatever it is, do I take that course? Do I go for that promotion? Do I quit my job? Do I sell my house and go and ride a motorbike? Do I go and buy a riverboat and go and live on the river? You know, whatever it is, do I move to another country? There's so many different things, and that sometimes you battle with yourself because you're not sure if what the decision you're making is the best one at that time. And then you'll have a guilty conscience, a clear conscience, the negative side, the positive side, the pros, the cons, the pluses, the minuses, this and this. Understanding all that is a difficult thing. So take time with yourself, be patient, understand who you are, understand what you want, know your values, know where you want to go, know what your aim is, know the type of person you want to be. If you don't, understand what you really want from life, align your values with that, and then work towards that. And always try and err on the side of being the best and I don't want to say goodest, because goodest it a word, like Buddhist? Like the best version, you know, a really good version of yourself. You know, always try and be a bit kinder. There's no harm to be a bit kinder, a bit nicer, a bit more patient, a bit more understanding, and leaning towards the good side. You know, when you slip into the dark side, okay, you had a bad day. You know, if you're always slipping into the dark side, then maybe you're an evil genius, you know, and you got a problem. But you get what I'm saying. I'm making a joke about it. But what I want from myself, and what I hope I can share with you guys, is that, you know, we don't always get it right. Well, there is a battle amongst ourselves, and sometimes we have to face decisions that we don't always know that we make the right choice. But do it with kindness, do it with patience, do it with intelligence, do it with integrity, consistency and discipline. I'm trying to be a man of integrity, and that's a hard thing to do, because there's sometimes you do those things when you get no reward, you get no thanks. Sometimes it's very isolated and people don't always appreciate you, but you have to be true to yourself. That is today's message. I hope it helps. Take care of yourselves and each other. I love you all. Peace.